Hello, my name is Jennifer and welcome to my Sims 4 video about the pre-eco lifestyle game update that happened this week. I'm mostly going to focus on some of the bugs that I have either experienced myself or that I have seen different people comment that they have experienced. I will also go over some of the new features from the game update, some of the big bug fixes that occurred, which there were quite a few bug fixes, as well as for those who are mod and custom content users, the impact of broken mods and custom content on your game and where to get the information about what has been fixed, which most of them have been. I'm actually going to start with going over the new and improved features that came with the game update. So one of the big ones was the update to our inventory. If you look here, my Sims have a lot, so they're a perfect family to use to show the new inventory. He has a lot in his inventory, and you can see I've already favorited a few. So you can filter by here in this manner, or you can just actually, if you want the categories, the filter is here. So if you want to just like, oh, I don't want to see all that stuff, just show the favorites, there it is. Of course, we also got the ability to do this multi-select, so you can select a whole bunch of things. You just put it on and then just click through and get it, and then you can sell everything all at once, which for me, I'll probably have to go through and sort this out. That would be great. Unfortunately, when you do the multi-select and you do a few things, you can't drag it anywhere. You can't drag it into, someone else's inventory, or if you have an inventory chest, you can't drag it there. You still have to take it out individually, but I'm still happy to be able to sell it all at once. That's good enough for me. Though, of course, the other would have been even better, but this is a good thing. One of the big things that we know we got was the free placement of doors and windows, where you can essentially place things off the build grid. Now, with that, there's actually some confusion as to how that is supposed to work. So in this particular build, this is just, they're still on the grid. But I'm going to just take these windows out. I'll sell a few of them and just show it. So here you can move, and you can, without even using the Alt key, you can move at half grids like this. If I use the Alt key, I can actually slide it and do this. So now you see that this 2-grid window is taking up 3 grids. Now, if I take this window and I want to put it beside it, I can't. I can only go as far as that grid. I can't move it in this little area, and that is actually by design, because the game currently doesn't let you stack things, and essentially that's, you can't have things on the same grid tile. So even though you can take it and move it, in this case put this 2-grid window on a 3-grid tile, you will not be able to put anything close to it. So, and the same thing applies with doors. So doors and windows, just consider them sort of the same thing. So if you put a door that's a 2-grid door over 3 grids, you won't be able to put windows right beside it. You can using the move objects cheat, but you'll get the look of when the wall goes through it. So you don't actually see through the window or the door. So anyways, so that is essentially the little brief tutorial on how the windows and doors work. And that came with the update in terms of what you may be expecting. There is actually a bug report about that, but it isn't really a bug, it's by design. There's also some new MAC cosmetics that have been added to our makeup category. There is, when I looked, there was eyeshadow, eyeliner, and lipstick. I didn't look that closely. I can't say it's probably anything I'm going to use very much. As we know, there's going to be the repo person NPC that can come and take things. I don't have an example of that. My Sims tend to pay their bills, but that's a new feature. And speaking of bills, there's the big bill update. So let me take a look here at your phone. You can go here under the household tab and show bills information, and that will come up and show your lot taxes, which there is actually a bug report about that I'll go over later, your power, your water, any other taxes which are derived from unpaid services, fees, and additional bills, and then tax breaks and penalties. They have frugal living traits. There's 3 of them. You can see them there, so they get a discount on their bills. So that is how that works, and I'll touch on that issue with the lot taxes after. So another thing we got was legacy neighborhood map tag. So now when you go into your legacy neighborhoods, you have the neighborhood name. So this is Crawdad Quarter, and then this one is Foundry Cove, and so on and so on. So there is an exception to that. The worlds that only have one neighborhood, they don't have map tags. That's just the way it is. The new ones we've got recently never had them, and the old ones that only had one also don't have them. Of course, a major thing we got was the upgrade to the off-the-grid lot trait and everything that goes along with it. One thing that I can show here, this house is not off the grid, so I can't show that, is we now have in here, off the grid is a category. So you'll be able to see everything that works off the grid just as it is. There's been the ability now that you can add ice to fridges so that fridges are supposed to work off the grid. Honestly, they worked off the grid for me even before, but now they've actually fixed it so it makes sense that they work off the grid, that you add ice and the ice will go away and you have to replace it. And with the plumbing, you can add water. The ability to add the water and to collect water from various sites, i.e. fishing holes, and they're in Sulani, so the waterfall, if they were off the grid, it will only show if the lot is off the grid. And if they're not off the grid, the options don't show up on the various things. There are a few other things, but there's quite a lot that happen with the off the grid, and the best places to look at the update notes. And another really good thing that I like a lot is that you now have the ability to say no trespassing, and you can say disallow vampires, disallow friends, neighbors, solicitors. Now, one thing I have seen with this is that if when you reload your lot, that this will change. I had actually set this to disallow vampires, and so I can confirm that now that I've reloaded this lot, that's no longer there. So at the moment, you have to set it again. I believe there's already a report for that. I just know that I've seen that that's an issue. So, and another fun thing, which I can't do right now, is you have the option to send people home instead of asking them to leave. But there's no one here on the lot who doesn't belong here. Of course, Patchy does, because he's usually on his little stand, but he's alive right now. But I have used it, and it works very well. The build mode has gameplay effects, not everything, but like the flooring here has an eco footprint, if I remember correctly. It's also flammable. So if we look here, it has minor environment gain of 1. So some objects have environment gain, not everything, and some have negative. This one has an eco footprint green of 2, and then it has a low fire resistance. So what I have done, and I don't know if it's going to work, it's summer right now in Sulani, so they're not actually lighting their fireplace, is I put a metal floor around the fireplace because the metal has a high fire resistance. So it was just something I'm going to try to see if it's going to work, but I haven't actually physically tried it because they don't need to light the fire right now. But it's something I'm gonna see. Speaking of flammability, we have the firefighter NPC, which I have not experienced because I have not had any fires in my game. And there's supposed to be more than 20 new styled looks added to children and toddlers. I can't say I particularly noticed them when I looked, but maybe I just don't remember what was there from before. And there's supposed to be a balancing of the phone call invitations. If you have a lot of packs like I do, you get like phone calls all the time, and that's supposed to be toned down. I'm not sure how well that has worked. Less invasive earbuds. You're not supposed to get the pop-ups anymore. They're just supposed to go into your Sims inventory, which is kind of funny. As a result, there are a couple of loading screens that actually have the messages you used to get from the phone call, which is reported as a bug report, but I kind of think it was probably tongue-in-cheek and something that's supposed to be funny. And for those console users up there, there was an update specifically for you. They have added a new controls overlay reminder that shows up throughout CAS, Gallery, Live Mode, and Build Mode, which is supposed to make it easier for new simmers to jump in and not need to remember all the controls. However, if you don't want that to show up because you know all of the controls, turn off the controls overlay reminder in the game options other menu. I have seen a few people asking how to get rid of it, and that's how you get rid of it. Now I'm going to move on to a few of the game fixes. There were quite a lot of game fixes, and I'm not going to talk about them all. As I said before, if you want to see the details, I recommend going to the game update notes, and I will link them down below. So a few things that I've had issues with or I've seen people asking about. The biggest one I would have to say is anyone who has an actor, you're now going to get your pop-ups for your gigs. I can't confirm that. I've not actually played with an actor since the game update, but I haven't seen people saying it's not working, so fingers crossed it actually has been fixed. There was an issue with roofs that sometimes where your trim was, say, supposed to be white, it would show little bits of black in different places. That's supposed to be fixed. I've actually had that one before. This one I'm actually going to talk about. Child Sims are supposed to be able to unlock the video gaming skill after they maxed out their mental skill instead of their motor skill. And it was causing adult skills to reset for child Sims when they completed aspirations. I can't say I ever noticed that, but there are now some issues where some child Sims aren't learning the adult Sims that they used to be able to learn. I'm not sure whether that's only for existing child Sims that you maybe had before the game update, because normally what happens if you max the child's skills, you're supposed to gain certain skills, adult skills. Not all of them, but there's a handful that you're supposed to gain. And there's some people, and I've seen this in one of my child Sims, but not for all of the skills, they're not getting there. My sim had maxed their creativity and they were playing on the violin. You're supposed to learn the violin skill, and my sim child did not learn that. So I'm kind of talking about a few of the bug things as we go through, just because they kind of link into some of these fixes. A fun thing, everybody should have a bicycle helmet available in Create a Sim, because they added the bike to the eco lifestyle. And of course, there's the bike in Discover University. That doesn't mean bikes are available for everything, just that the helmets are available for everybody, even in base game. So another issue that was fixed is something that I actually use all the time, and it fixed with respect to the yard sales, that you can do a yard sale with the yard sale table or with the street gallery. I would always have to lock my door so that the people coming to do the yard sales wouldn't come in and start watching my TV, using my bathroom, using whatever there was in the house. Luckily, we can tell them not to use the computers now, but they were used to use those too. So I would lock the house. But now, they're not supposed to go in your house. And I've actually had a few yard sales in this save and another save, and I can confirm the Sims did not come in my house. So that, I have to say, really good fix that I appreciate greatly. Another bug or another issue that was fixed, you can see my sim mom here, and she's doing her university homework. The timers now work for that, and they are supposed to be quicker when they're actually doing their homework. And I have to say, it does seem like they're quicker than they had been. I've been playing with university a lot, and it's been taking forever to do homework, and now it seems much faster. And another fun thing with Discover University, the Sims in the law career can now attend depositions from their computers and phones, which they were supposed to according to the tooltips, but it was never an option with the sim that I have in the law career. I had to actually be in the neighborhood and select the appropriate buildings for her to be able to go. My sim just happened to be a female. So that's sort of another fun thing. And one last big thing that for me, and that I've seen a lot of people ask about, if you have a Spellcaster, the styled looks are back for all of them. So you now will be able to see them in Create a Sim, and I can confirm that. You can see these Sims are Spellcasters. I play with them a lot, and they all have access to the styled looks. Previously, I could only see the styled looks on Spellcasters born in the game. Now they all have them. Moving on with respect to mods and custom content, the majority of mods did break with this game update. MCCC did not break, but there still are a couple of there still is a hotfix out. There's actually 2 versions of the hotfix. So if you use MCCC, you should be using hotfix 7.2.2 at the time that I'm recording. I don't know if there will be another one that comes out after Eco Lifestyle is out. And I find one of the good places to look to see whether your mods broke, which most of them did, and whether they've been updated, which at this point in time, most of them have been, is on the forums. There is a list there, and I will link to Loose Twitter that actually links to the forums, because YouTube has an issue with me putting forum links. For the most part, from what I can gather, the majority of mods are fixed at this point. There are also some custom content with default eyes and eyelashes that's broken, and I don't know if that's fixed yet. I can't say that I've seen it, but if you look at that link that I share, it'll tell you there. So if you use those, that's something that you should be considering. So now I'm going to go on to the bug that have been reported. And as you know, there was a hot fix for PC and Mac earlier today, and it was to fix the biggest bug that people were experiencing. They couldn't get into some of their existing saves, or some people couldn't get into existing saves, and essentially SimGuru said, create a new save, play a different save, leave those. They should be fine once they get the fix. So they're supposed to be fine now that they have the fix out. Console doesn't have it yet, but they're trying to get it out to console as soon as possible because this affects PC, Mac, Xbox One, and PlayStation 4. So if you're having problems getting into those saves, don't delete them, just leave them, and hopefully it will get fixed soon so you'll be able to get into them. Just play another save in the meantime. That said, there are some other error codes with saves issues, and the best place to go and look and see if you're having that is to EA Answer Headquarters. Look at the bug area and see if you can see your error code there and see what to do. A lot of those actually do have to do with mods, outdated mods, and the fix is to remove those outdated mods, delete your local thumb cache, get rid of the resource file and let it put a new resource file in there just to get everything sort of cleaned up and working better, and hopefully that will fix it. So that is the big issue after this game update, hence the hot fix the day after the update for PC and Mac, and hopefully soon for console. So moving on, I'm going to talk about a few of the bugs that I have seen, and I'm going to just start with this one with respect to bills and utilities, and in particular the lot taxes right here. You can see that it's only $300 for this household, and it says it's determined based on the value of all objects on the lot and the lot's value. However, almost all of my households only have lot taxes of $300, regardless of what the value of the lot is, never mind the objects in their personal inventory and whatnot. The only time I've seen it be different is when it's lower with my low value households, where they're less than 20,000, then I think it calculates because it comes out at different amounts. I have two households that have less than 20,000 in terms of like the lot value, and they had lower lot taxes. But I have this household, which has, I think this lot is worth over 50,000. I have another one that's worth like 430,000, plus they have like oodles of valuable stuff in their personal inventory, and they also only have 300. And I've seen a lot of people comment that they're seeing this 300. So my guess is that's not calculating properly, but for now we can take advantage of the fact that our Sims have low bills. So another thing that there's a report of is that people are experiencing messages from using a phone while off the grid, even when they're on the grid. So here's an example. Oh no, your call is dropping. For some reason, it's happy +1. But in this case, it's actually, they are enjoying being off the grid. I've also seen angry ones. His sister had that earlier because she called in sick because she's sick and she was angry from the bad reception or something like that. So that's another reported issue. It doesn't really make a lot of sense that you're going to get this type of message when you're actually on the grid. The nano can, another thing that's reported is the nano can used to give you simoleons when you as the player drag things into it, and now it no longer does that. It used to be 10 simoleons per every member of the household. It still, to what I've heard, gives simoleons if the Sims put garbage in it, but it won't do it for when we're doing it. That is reported as a bug issue. Whether it's a change in design or whether it's a bug, I don't really know, but for now it's there as a report. So here's another example of something. I don't have eco lifestyle in my game yet, but yet this garbage can is looking like it's overflowing. It did not look like that when I first bought it. I've just had Sims put garbage in it, and I did it on purpose. I kept having them drag stuff to it just so I could fill it up, because I had noticed this with the Island Living garbage can, which I think I put in their inventory because they had so much in it already, and I wasn't trying to do it with this. Let's see. Yeah, so it comes out. So you can see the Island Living garbage can is the same, but when you get a new one, it shows as empty. So you can see the empty versions and the full version. So I would expect this if you have eco lifestyle and you're using the special lot trait, because that makes sense. It's supposed to fill up and they come once a week, or you can do various things with it. But to me, it doesn't make a lot of sense if you don't have eco lifestyle and aren't using that lot trait. So there's a bug report for that. I have not experienced this next one myself. This household doesn't have any pets, and it's the one I've been playing the most. There is a bug report that dogs and cats are disappearing. And when I mean disappearing, they're not running away. They're actually physically disappearing from the lot. And then you can't use the little whistle to get them to come back. And you have to like call them to come or travel to get them come back. And they don't walk off the lot. They just physically disappear. That's what I'm seeing. So, and they do look grayed out when that happens, like as if they had run away, or they're not there, but they didn't run away. So that's something that people are experiencing. I have not yet experienced it myself, but you may be getting it, and I will link to all of these bug reports down below in case you're seeing these, so you can add me to's and comment with your experience, of course. Now, another one is that people are seeing flames in toilets, usually when they're being used, and it's just a visual thing. There is no actual fire. I have heard, but I haven't looked yet because I haven't played with Eco Lifestyle, that goes away with Eco Lifestyle. I can't confirm it. I just heard that that was a thing. Now, another thing is that some plants, particularly bushes, ones that look like bushes, after you harvest them, they go back and they look like they disappear, and then they gradually come back. They look like a plant, and then by the next day, from what I can gather, they are back to their full size. But if you harvest again, they essentially go back to look like they're not there, and it takes the day for it to sort of recover and come back. So it doesn't seem like there's an actual gameplay issue with that, but it looks a bit odd. So the final thing I'm going to touch on is that there currently seems to be an issue with sim caregivers helping toddlers, with helping them with going potty, or teaching them potty, or teaching them blocks, or even in this case, I had asked this toddler to have his mom play with him, and she didn't come. And when I also asked him to have her teach him blocks, it queued up, but she didn't actually teach. So they just don't follow through on the interaction. And he's playing. He is almost finished playing, but normally they'll play with them. But right now she's a spellcaster, so all she can do is use a magic on this. She cannot use that. So, and in the past, you could join playing with toddlers. So that seems to be, I'd say, a bug. And there is a bug report for that. So some of the interactions that used to be there aren't there. And hopefully they'll fix that one soon. But that is sort of a summary of a bunch of the issues, like I said, that I've either seen myself or that I have seen other people comment about. There are more, but those are just the main ones that I have seen more often. Well, that's going to be it for this video. Let me know if you have a favorite feature from this game update, or if you're having some problems, perhaps some problems that I haven't noted here. Thanks very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye! This has been Jennifer. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. I'd love to see them. If you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more videos of challenge, let's plays, tutorials, and occasional speed builds, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks very much!